Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today is going to be the update of my rhinoplasty. I'm going to be 4 months post-op next week. So one of the things that I was talking about in the last video, I was showing you what I was like 1 week post the removal of the cast. So that was at about 2 weeks or something post-op. And it was obviously really swollen. It was really wide at the front. The tip was huge. And I thought to myself, oh my god, it's never gonna go down. The swelling's never gonna go down. And I was a little bit panicky. And I think now, at nearly 4 months, is pretty much what it's going to be. So one main thing that you're probably going to realise is that it's still, especially when you see my before clips, it is still quite wide as far as regular aesthetics go. I already had quite a wide nasal bridge to begin with. For me, my main concern was the length. My nostrils, I had like a bit of a hanging tip called like a hanging columella or something like that. There was a little bit of a bump on the bridge of the nose, which I wanted to get rid of. But in terms of the width, when I was talking with my surgeon, he even told me, he was like, look, I don't know whether I can make it as thinner as you want it to be without risk of the nose collapsing or leading to breathing problems down the track. I was completely okay with that. I was honest when I was like, if you can do all the other things, I'll be happy with the width. I know that I'm not going to come out having a super Western nose. It's not going to be that typical aesthetic model kind of nose. I didn't want to, I guess, lose my ethnicity or lose the way that I completely looked. It is a conversation that I had with the surgeon prior to surgery. It is a little bit thinner than it was previously. My surgeon was Andrew Greensmith. He works for the Melbourne Institute of Plastic Surgery. He's an amazing plastic surgeon. He doesn't just do rhinoplasties, he does specialise in them, but he also does do breast augmentations as well, and I think other kinds of plastic surgery, but rhinoplasty is what he's kind of most known for. I have taken my professional after shots at the surgeon's day rooms as well. That was taken at 10 weeks post-op, so just under 3 months, which I would love to show you and show you pictures of. In terms of breathing, I can breathe perfectly fine out of both my nostrils, and close one and breathe through the other, all that kind of stuff. Nothing hurts, of course, except if I do accidentally drop my phone on my face or hit something, it will give me that sharp pain. If you press really hard, it will be tender, especially around these regions here. My smile is back to a full-blown smile. My laugh is normal, my yawn is normal. I have a really big smile when I'm at my fullest, and I don't feel it at all. And because I have gained that full motion again, I have been able to see one of the really big positives of the surgery, which was every time I used to smile, the tip of my nose would I guess turn downwards, and I do actually have a before and after photo that at the surgeon's day rooms of showing that in like a professional kind of setting, and it no longer does that. My nose no longer moves when I talk, which is an amazing thing. I don't feel like I used to feel like I had a bit of a beak, or a bit like an eagle of some sorts. I can eat perfectly fine, that's all back to normal. I was able to do that like probably at around a month post-op, if I'm being honest. I want to say for maybe about 2 months after I got my cast off, I actually kept icing my nose every single day, probably every morning, up until about 2 months post the operation. I was really diligent. I know that the majority of the swelling would just go away naturally, but I really wanted to get that swelling kind of done. When I saw the surgeon at 10 weeks, he did say that there was a little bit of swelling still in the tip. I'm still so over the moon with it, like it's kind of ridiculous. In terms of the actual care and cleaning, I cleaned my nose with the saline spray and like cotton buds and the nose oil for about 2 months post-op. I still to this day do the nose oil just because inside it feels like, even though like there's mucus, it feels dry, but I no longer do the saline or sterilization sprays. I sometimes will do the Q-tips and go up in there, mainly because this is going to sound so TMI, but for me to get any, I guess, boogers out of my nose, I can't actually stick a finger at my nose. It's also recommended that you don't stick big objects like fingers and everything inside your nose. You should be really gentle, which I'm just probably going to adhere to for the next year until it's sort of cleared as completely healed. In terms of the cost, I did go and see a surgeon that was really, really highly regarded in Melbourne. So I knew that I was in good hands, and I did pay quite a lot of money compared to what I think the majority of people pay. The good thing is though, he was an amazing person to work with. If you would like me to do a video based on my I guess consultation and pre-op experience, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. But I can discuss all that kind of stuff there. I did pay a little over $15,000 of course Australian dollars for the surgery, but I don't regret it one bit. For me, it wasn't a lot of money because it was something that I had thought about for well over a decade. I had started saving for it from the minute I got my first ever job back when I was 15. I'm 22 now. In terms of how I feel, from the moment that I had the cast off, I automatically, all of my self-doubt, I guess, and my self-consciousness just completely went away. It was the weirdest thing because I didn't think it was going to happen, I guess, so soon. I mean, obviously I knew that it was going to change the way I felt about myself, but honestly, I stopped feeling self-conscious about my body, about my ability to do things, which I know they're not linked to looks, but it's just crazy how much more I am willing to talk to people and get to know people and be social, just put myself out there. It's crazy how much something as I guess in my head stupid as this has completely and utterly impacted my life. I was literally obsessing about my nose every single day. It was consuming my thoughts. I'm no longer thinking about my nose or myself. I know this sounds so vain to the people that don't understand or don't have this kind of problem, but I'm sure for those of you that are thinking about having a nose job or have had a nose job can familiarize with the fact that it kind of consumes you in a way where it is really, really unhealthy. And so getting this surgery was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And I think the reason why I also feel so great about it was because I saved up for it myself. I did the whole process myself. Everything was self-driven. I had said to myself, I was going to do this. I did it. And I know people are going to think plastic surgery is not an achievement, but the impact that it's had on my life, it has been the greatest achievement that I've ever done. Sorry if the position also changed, my camera died. So yeah, anyway, what I was saying. In terms of physical activity, I wasn't allowed to do anything physical for 6 weeks. So I wasn't able to go to my gym classes or anything like that. So I patiently waited until 6 weeks, and I'm telling you, 6 weeks to the day after that, I went straight to my gym class. I also slept in the most upright position that I could for 6 weeks as well. I wanted to do everything, the healing and the swelling of my nose. So I did wait until the 6 week mark to go completely 180. I had a big giant pillow. I would sleep at a 45-degree angle. The one thing, it was a bit weird transitioning from the upright to being completely flat. I felt like initially at first I felt like I couldn't breathe and that I was closing off airways, but you quickly just get used to it. It's something that obviously my body was not familiar with anymore, but after 1 or 2 nights I was completely fine. People were asking about whether I had an Instagram. I do. It is on private just for my friends and family, but who knows, that might be opened up in the future. Another question that I got asked a lot was, how were my family and friends along with this whole, I guess, journey before the surgery? And obviously it was something, like I said, it's something that I've been thinking about for years. I had researched everything myself, looked up all the surgeons, preoperative, postoperative procedures, same thing with private health and the Medicare stuff. If you live in Australia, you'll know what that is. I didn't want to burden my family with it, especially because in their eyes I was already beautiful, and so they weren't quite on board with why I wanted to do it, but they certainly weren't stopping me at all. Because I still live with them, I do have to respect their wishes and be within their boundaries as well. So I wanted to have all the information I could possibly have before I approached them about getting the surgery, so that they were on board with me and would help support me during that time. Of course, I had the final say because it's my face and it's my money, but I really wanted their support and approval with the whole process. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or video ideas or whatever. Hope you enjoyed.